Yes, I'm here from Medway Council, and I'm here to talk to you today about our redesigned nuisance vehicle process that previously was a little bit meh, and now we've transformed it into something a little, This has kind of been confirmed because we won the Excellence in Business Transformation Award at the European Business and Service Design Conference last month with this project, so thank you very much. So this was a real service design journey. We put the user at the heart of every decision that we made. And using Jadu's low-code, no-code technology, we built something that was human-centred and scalable as well. And I know today's focus has been largely on AI and agents, but at the end of the day, we're providing services to humans, and we are humans as well. So I think that's really important that we keep the focus on that, and AI and all these tools are there to kind of amplify the processes and the services that we're providing. So what were we trying to fix? We were trying to fix duplicate reports, assignment to wrong service areas, and more importantly, demoralised, frustrated officers and residents. Our old processes had multiple web pages because they were dealing with multiple issues. So we had abandoned vehicles on one web page, we had illegally parked vehicles on another web page, we had illegal vehicle sales and repairs on another web page, and we were expecting our residents to know what their issue was, what criteria it fit, do some investigative work, and then come back and fill in a form that may or may not go to the right service area. So, as you can imagine, very frustrated people. Take the old abandoned vehicle process as an example. Once you managed to get to our right web page that had that information, we then had the audacity to say to residents, go and check the DVLA website, see if that vehicle's taxed and MOT'd. Can you work out if it's been taxed for not been taxed for longer than 2 months or more? If it hasn't, then come back and fill in this form. But if it has, stay there and report it over there. You can imagine that a lot of people weren't actually doing that. They'd come to the Medway website to report a Medway issue on a Medway street. They didn't care that there were third parties involved and partnerships that would get involved with this. They just wanted to tell us that something was wrong on the street. So what did we do? We went back to basics, and we looked at Lou Downs' 15 Principles of Good Service Design. I'm not going to go through all of these, but there were 6 that kind of stood out as critical for us for the success of this project. The first one was it should be easy to find. So in an age of instant gratification, where you can get an Amazon delivery back to your house at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, we're not making people do a lot of legwork, we're being transparent with our data, but we're also showing people that it's easy to interact with the local government service that you're with. It should clearly explain its purpose. It should require no prior knowledge to use. It should be agnostic of organisational structures. It should also encourage the right behaviours. Now, I spend a lot of time in the Facebook comments section on community groups, and we could see that a lot of our residents were saying, don't report it directly to the council. It gets done better and quicker if you go to Fix My Street. You can see that it's already been reported there. You can see what they're doing for it. So reputationally and morally, that's not great for us as an organisation, but it's not great for the residents that we're serving. And finally, it should respond to change quickly. So even though we went live with this service in October last year, and we put some brilliant things in place, that's already outdated, and that has been highlighted today, especially because we weren't looking at using things like Agent X or agents, but we can definitely see that there's a use case for the foundational process that we've put in place here. So what we did was we got our service areas in together in a room. So we got our street scene enforcement team who deal with abandoned vehicles, and our parking enforcement team, and our content design team, business analysts, ICT, and service designers, as well as customer services, and I locked them in the room for 2 days. We went through and we zoomed out and we mapped out their processes and showed them that actually they were going through the same business process, they were collecting the same data from residents, but they were using it in slightly different ways. We then went out and we spoke to users and residents, and we did behaviour audits. We watched those residents frustratingly go through all of the information that was shown on the website. We watched them try and struggle with the technology and also try and, report an abandoned vehicle, but we asked them to go off and do other things. So what we did after that was we then co-designed with those service areas and those residents, and we came up with something that was a lot smoother, more seamless, and much better. So we called it the Report a Nuisance Vehicle Service. So you've got now one landing page on medway.gov.uk, and I'm not doing a live demo, by the way, guys. I've learned. I've seen you all struggle today. I'm not doing that. So we called it Report a Nuisance Vehicle, and within the first kind of top part, you can see what you can report here, what you can't report here, but also what we'll do with the report that you submit. We've also taken the behaviours and the expectations and made it a familiar process. So residents want to see reports that have been submitted already. We've now surfaced those reports on a live map. It's within a Medway boundary, so it's highlighted. You can't report anything outside of the Medway boundary. But we've also given them a key to say it's been there for less than 1 month if it's green. Orange, it was 5 to 8 months ago, and maybe we should be doing things with that. And once they go and click in onto a pin, they can now see what the type of report it is, when it was reported, the reference number, and information about the vehicle so that they know that we're already aware of it. What's not in the screenshot here is the ability to also subscribe to updates. So we're not going to force our residents through a form to tell us about something we already know about with information that they're going to provide us. So duplication is a massive thing that we all struggle with in local government. Because we're not being transparent with the data that we've got and the reports that we've got, we get a lot of reports coming in from third parties. Residents are going to start, carry on reporting things because they don't think that things are being done because there's no transparency there. What this has done has stripped out duplication and manual triage for our street scene enforcement team by 75%. In 1 quarter alone, because it was easier for you to report an abandoned vehicle through our online form, they received 3,000 reports into the team about abandoned vehicles. After removing duplications, after removing misassigned reports about illegal vehicle parking, untaxed vehicles, it transpired that actually just under 10% of those 3,000 reports were legitimate abandoned vehicle reports. And that's a huge operational load that has been removed from a very small, very overstretched team. What we've also done is we've incorporated a live lookup into the DVLA API vehicle registration search engine within the Jadu form. So the first question that you're asked when you enter the form is, where is it? The next question is, would you like to upload a photo of it? And we won't force anybody to provide information that they don't want to provide. They can move to the next page where it will be, please enter the vehicle registration number. Once they've entered that vehicle registration number, we go away and we look at the information that is held in the DVLA. We've also built some predefined logic within the product that will tell us if the vehicle has been if the vehicle tax is due for more than 2 months or more. And that means that we're not saying to the resident, you go away and do that work. We've done that work for them and we've surfaced it to them and said, this might be an untaxed vehicle. If it comes back and the logic has deemed that that vehicle may be untaxed, we then tell them, we're going to pass that information on to the DVLA for you. So we end their journey within the form at the appropriate place. We ask them to go next, which anybody that's using the forms in the product will know you get to the submission page. That then will create a case in Connect. It will automatically transition to refer to the DVLA, and it will pass an automated email to the DVLA's office with the vehicle location and all of the details in it for them to go out and action. The customer gets a reference number. We've not collected any data from the customer that isn't worth us collecting because we can't do anything with the DVLA untaxed vehicle reports, but it does mean that it's held within Connect. Our service areas can see how many abandoned untaxed vehicles have been referred to the DVLA automatically throughout the month. So they're not going through and manually triaging this and sending it off to the DVLA. We've done all of that work for them. If the vehicle meets other criteria, for example, and it is taxed, but maybe it's parked over a drop curb or on a yellow line, we'll let the customer know and we'll say to them, actually, rather than you going through the whole form, if it's parked over a dropped curb, please call this hotline number rather than submit a case and then in 3 days' time, we're going to email you and say, actually, you should have called that phone number in the first place. So we've got one dashboard in Connect for our illegal parking team and our street scene team to see all of the reports that are coming through, and we're organising them by status. So you can see that ABV stands there for abandoned vehicle, the blue is an illegal parking report, and we have given them a single view. A lot of the duplication and the manual intervention that was being done by officers was, this is an illegal parking report, but it's gone to the abandoned vehicle team. I'm going to email you the reference number from this service, this software package that your report sits in. You go and then investigate this, come back. Don't tell the customer that we've changed it over to a different department. Nobody really knows what's going on. It's now in one central place, and we can see exactly what is happening, and so can those officers. At a click of a button, because we are humans and we're dealing with humans who will go through and change their answers in a form, there is a margin of error. So we've built in contingencies to allow for a one click, and that can be reassigned to another service. It also means that we have got feedback loops, and we can now target additional support and training to those service areas that are maybe sending out communications that might be a little bit vague. I don't know if anybody else knows what we're not going to look at this vehicle because it's not in contravention means. I don't know if anybody else would do it, but out of like just basic frustration, I'd not submit another report and go, I don't know what that means. So it means that we can go to our service areas and say, actually, have you thought about the information that you're putting in these automated responses? Maybe let's be a little bit friendlier with those kind of people out in the street rather than it's not in contravention. And then, yes, we have been using what was Jadu Labs and now Jadu Assist to help us with the build and the iteration of this process. We have iterated the service since it went live in October last year 6 or 7 times based on customer feedback. And the downtime for each of those iterations has been less than 30 minutes while we've swapped out forms or made adjustments to workflows. The fact that we've been using the Jadu product for this, it's our first service pattern map, which means that we're going to be scaling this up. So this is a report it service pattern map, and we will be using that to make sure that every single one of the processes that you go through for report it will feel familiar, it will feel, kind of nice, arms wrapped around you, and you'll know that you're dealing with Medway Council. What we've also done, because it's low code, no code, is use that to upscale and decommission our legacy systems. So in September, we identified there were 29 old eBase forms in our old Lagan product, with an associated 79 workflows with those. I then got a team together of 11 members of staff, trained them up on the Jadu product. They'd never done forms or workflows before. And over the period of 6 months, we moved those forms from a legacy product into the Connect product. And that was, 6 months, which is probably about a third of a traditional ICT deployment project. We made improvements based on the feedback that we'd received from customers and members of staff as well, and that has also given us an annual saving of £55,000 a year, because we're no longer paying for a CRM over here and a CRM over here that wasn't doing very much else. So yeah, that's pretty much it, a whistle-stop tour of nuisance vehicles and how much better it is for everybody involved. And what we'll be doing afterwards is hopefully using some AI, maybe a little bit of Agent X, we'll see what happens, and yeah.